What is up, you filthy animals? Welcome back to the channel and your 2023 MC500 two-stroke dirt bike build and giveaway, otherwise known as Hellfire. Guys, we are already up to episode 13. That means we are this close from one of you guys bringing this badass bike home. And today I have some really cool topics to touch on with you, 3 in fact. First thing, just like episode 12, I'm gonna give you guys a really brief overview of some of these super trick things that have happened to your bike since last week. Thing number 2, guys, we are headed to Rekluse. We are going to not, did you see how I grabbed that? I wasn't even looking. Anyways, we're headed over to Rekluse to install a super trick MX clutch system in your bike for you. And of course, no Rekluse clutch system is complete without a special cover. So we'll be catching that on film as well, being made for you guys. And if you've been around for a while, you guys already know that if I'm highlighting something, I'm probably also giving it away. So yes, when we get to Rekluse, guys, we're gonna be giving away a custom Rekluse clutch cover with special logos, special engravings just for you in today's episode. So when you guys get entered to win Hellfire on mXrevival.com, you'll also be in the running for things like this, the custom Rekluse clutch covers, not to mention the $600 Electron Pro Series Big Air we just gave away. Congrats, Mike. Stoked for you, my buddy up in Canada. And all the other cool stuff like the Decal Works graphics, the custom seat cover we're gonna be giving away here shortly, the Phoenix handlebars, the Dirt Tricks chainwear guides, the 3DP Moto, 3D printed moto parts, guys. So much more to give away. Pretty cool. You might bag a $30,000+ dirt bike build or some MX parts, and of course, all your donations help OMC Raceway, one of our country's oldest motorcycle clubs. So thank you guys so much for all your support. I appreciate you. Now, before we head over to Rekluse, guys, item number 3 on my hit list, we're gonna go ahead and talk about and install the $1 million foot peg. What the hell is he talking about, the $1 million foot peg? Well, could you imagine if Tomac had been running these in this last season's Supercross? Things might have been a little different, right? I'm thinking that's a yes. At any rate, we're gonna go ahead and install your brand new Fastway foot pegs. Pro Moto Billet is right down the street from here as well, just like Rekluse. So a quick 20-minute drive this morning. I was at their shop picking up your new pegs. Really cool to have some badass brands right here by the shop in Idaho. So let's go ahead and check out your bike, look at some of the trick things I did to it for you, then we'll go ahead and install these bad boys. Well, I suppose first things first, you guys are getting a little sneak peek of your custom Decal Works seat cover. Love these Gas Gas logos, freaking amazing. Let's go ahead and pop this thing off, show you guys the goods. Thing is sharp. I know you guys are probably sick of seeing this bike in pieces. There's a reason I hold out to the end. It's all part of my mystique. Let's go ahead, take a closer look at this custom map switch. So you guys might remember me mentioning it in earlier episodes, but when you buy the BRC Racing 500cc engine kit that drops right into this chassis, you also get one of these new ignitions or CDIs. Dual map CDI normally comes with a switch that runs up to your handlebars. You have a little toggle. I'll show it to you real quick in case you missed it last time. Ah yes, there it is. Ugly as all sin. You guys might remember, I'm not a huge fan of the way this looks, so that is the reason why I've tucked a switch underneath. You can reach down on the side of the track. It'll be under your radiator shroud. Kind of a cool factory little touch, I thought, so I'm digging it. One less thing to clutter the handlebars with. Anyways, if you want to do something similar or your bike has this capability, you can pick up one of these switches from AutoZone. They're very easy to find, and yes, it's going to be fine as far as weather is concerned. Got everything crimped and heat shrinked for you under here, nice and tidy, tons of clearance as the seat travels over the top of this area here. Also got your brand new battery from my buddy Kevin up at Ridemore in Canada. Links below for you guys. Brand new ground straps, brand new hardware, brand new everything in this area. Well, the whole freaking bike. And here's a sound that might also excite you. Yes, the electric start is functional. Guys, a real quick note for you in regards to batteries and voltage and connectivity, your coil electrical systems on your motorcycle. A couple weeks ago, I saw this dispute about whether or not you needed to clean the powder coating or paint or whatever it is you've coated your bike with off the area of the frame where your coil mounts. The idea being to have a good enough ground for your bike's electrical system to work and generate spark, etc. In regards to the battery and electric start system on your Hellfire build, you need a good 12 volts. Now normally this battery grounds to the subframe here in the back, and it still does, but this cable ended up being effectively useless because when I metered out the battery, because the button wasn't working, the magic button, I only got 6 volts. Now if you think about it, the electric starter is bolted onto the bottom of the engine is bolted to the frame is bolted to the subframe where the ground strap on this battery is. So technically we should have a good 12 volts, but because of the powder coating on the subframe and the main frame, which is then touching the engine and the electric starter, wear, the powder coating is actually working as an insulator, much like a jacket over any copper or aluminum wire. And so that's why we got a bad 6 volts, not enough for the magic button to actually work. And so hopefully I'm tying those two stories or situations together for you well enough, the coil and the whole electric starting system. In either case, you need a good reference to ground for your electronics on your bike to work. And if you don't care about all that technical crap, well, this is all you need to know. Starter works. And so just to settle that little Facebook debate and to take a stance, while it is true that your threaded area should be more than enough clean contact area to derive a good ground, I'm still a fan of cleaning all the paint or powder coat off anywhere the coil is touching. Not only does it guarantee that you'll have a good ground, but also as time wears on and those threads corrode because of electrolysis, you can't see them. One day your bike may not run, which A, would be a pain in the ass to troubleshoot, or B, if your bike shuts off in the air, you don't want to find out that way. So that's my stance on it. Guys, your bike is insane and it just keeps getting cooler. Let's go ahead and jump into those $1 million foot pegs, see what they come with, get them on your bike. All right, guys, here we are on the bench with the foot pegs that Tomac probably should have been using. These are the Fastway EXP foot pegs. First thing I noticed is they're ridiculously light, like ridiculously light when you pick them up. I really love all the CNC cut lines that are in these. They actually match the billet lower lugs on your technical touch suspension kit by AHM really well. These are actually made out of 2024 billet aluminum instead of 6061, so they're stronger and less brittle than some of the cheaper stuff you might find online that's made out of 6061. And just look at the difference. Oh my God, these are ugly. Holy crap, that is amazing. We're gonna have to go ahead and throw these guys on the scale next to each other because I think these absolutely massive foot pegs are lighter than the stock steel ones. I can pretty much feel the difference, but we'll throw them on the scale. So back to our boy Tomac, guys, you can kind of tell what I'm getting at, right? There's an extension here, EXT. If you hyperextend, your foot will actually hit this lower platform here and save you from injury. So I think if you are somebody who needs a little extra support, or you're just wicked sick on a bike, these would probably benefit you greatly. I don't have the EXT, I have some Evo pegs on my RM250, and they have a nice wide platform like this, and they actually give you a much better contact patch and inspire some more confidence on the bike, if I'm being honest. So if you guys want these for your KTM and various other models, you actually need what they call a fit kit. So we have some parts here that you need to pick up. Oh, I'm seeing our first problem. You guys see what it is? You know where my OCD's at right now? So these are two different colors. Looks like one is just a standard zinc color and the other one probably has a yellow chromate on it, perhaps. And I believe that is to identify left, right. And you know my OCD isn't going to be able to handle it. So we will go ahead and zinc plate these before we get these on your bike too. Just a little curveball, but I'll show you guys how to zinc plate. It will be fun. Anyways, back to the fit kit. You need that in order to install these on certain motorcycles. So they're about 20 bucks. These foot pegs are like 300 bucks, lucky you. And they all come with some different size cleats. There is a 10 millimeter cleat in terms of height. Can't get those out. A little bit shorter. These look like the 10s. And then there are some 12s that are a little bit taller, so they'll stick up out of the peg a little bit more if you need a little bit of extra bite. I'm a bigger fan of the shorter ones. Something else that's pretty cool is you guys can actually raise or lower these pegs in the chassis depending on which way you install the fit kit. So if you install these pins top side or on the bottom, you'll effectively raise or lower the peg height. So we've got a lot of adjustability there. Not only that, they come with these shims so that you can actually adjust, let's say the bike is over here, the caster, by adding or deleting shims to get the foot peg to angle up on the end a little more or a little less, depending on how flat you like it. Anyway, first things first, we need to go ahead and get our fit kit pressed into these. So we'll head over to the vise, get this stuff pressed in. We'll go with the standard position today, and then we will throw these onto your bike. Oh wait, we gotta fix that too. Yeah, we'll do that. Pit stop. Go ahead and weigh these stalkers. They are 13.8 ounces. Zero that out. So you get a ton more surface area for your feet, way cooler looking, and let's be honest, they're probably a lot safer than the stock pegs too. $1 million foot peg. All right, here we are over on the vise, and you guys already know on this channel, if someone's in need of penetration, tell them to give me a call. It's just what we do. Now guys, it's time to install the fit kit. This will enable us to mount these EXTs to our frame. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can either mount this from the top side, which will give you what they call a low boy position, which will lower the foot pegs in your chassis, or if you go from the underside here, it will give you the, where are we here? Stock ride height of your original pegs. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the stock because I don't know if I need the lower. I am a taller guy, but then again, this bike is not for me. And they also give you a set tool. Now, if you want to switch your ride height later, you can use this same setting tool to push the sleeve back out from the opposite side. It's the same size as this board, just a little smaller. And then you can go ahead and do a little flippy doodle there. You don't necessarily need this set tool to install the sleeve initially, although it's here so we can use it. But you can also go ahead and put this directly into the vise and use something like a socket on the other side to keep from marring to death your brand new, beautifully anodized finish, although it's going to get pretty wicked up once it's in the frame, going up and down anyways as you hit ruts and rocks and what have you. So we'll go ahead and get that centered up and we'll penetrate. And since I'm not paying attention, I'm actually setting them up low boy style. So we'll go ahead and show you how that tool works and get that out of there. We're gonna need something on the other side, like a sleeve of some sort. That ought to do her. Something like that goes over so that this sleeve can push its way out and not hit anything. The demonstrations you never knew you were gonna perform. There you go, real easy, all done. Let's go ahead and try that again, only with less dumb this time. Get to penetrate again. Give it a quick check. So this is going to be flush. When this is all the way seated here in the rear, it will be flush in the front. Good to know. There it is, the final snug. Something about machined parts, man. Just look at that. So freaking nice. I like that laser. That's a nice touch as well. Just too clean. Looks super factory. All right, we've got one more pit stop before we throw these badass pegs on your bike, and that would be to strip the zinc. I'm gonna have to do them both so that they both match when they come out, and re-zinc plate these, get them both the same exact color. All right, here we are, my little zinc plating setup. You guys can also find these on the website under shop tools if you'd like to do this yourselves. We're gonna give you a cheap and dirty today on these parts because it does take some time to prep. There's some vapor blasting involved, etc., and stripping, all those sorts of things. So what you guys are watching right now is a clip from my trusty iPhone of me dipping these parts into muriatic acid. You do not want to do this inside. That is why I'm outside with the iPhone. You do not want to breathe this stuff. It is very, very dangerous, but it will rip the zinc off of absolutely anything. I use it non-diluted, and there you have it. So there you have it. There is all of our prepped and ready to go product. We have everything vapor blasted after, of course, stripping it. Everything is super clean. It's time to get these into the zinc plating tank. It's a shame you can't leave them like this. I think they look really cool. Raw steel, they would literally rust overnight if there were any moisture in the air, but I feel like raw steel actually looks like titanium. So I definitely dig the look and wish we could keep it like that. But this is what every bolt in your bike underwent that was gray. We eliminated every gray KTM bolt in the entire Hellfire build. So this was probably an hour detour, I would say. If you guys want to learn how to zinc plate, I left a video for you in the description below. Wasn't going to leave you hanging. Let's get these plated. There is a little bit of math that goes into deciding how many amps you need to use in order to plate these parts without burning them or underplating them. That'll be in that other video as well. Alrighty, let's see how we did. Gorgeous. Not surprised. Numero dos. Looking good as well, I hope. Yes, sir. Perfect. They match. I'm happy. Wait till you guys see these up close. All right, here we are on the home stretch. Guys, check out your peg springs. Pretty nice, right? Not bad. They're actually not as nice as I had hoped, but they're still pretty dang good. So those will be going on. They match. That's great. Oh, and if you guys were wondering what the heck these are for, these actually bolt into your fuel tank, and your radiator shrouds slide over and onto them, so they're actually captive for your plastics. Something you'll never see, but you know, we make sure even the stuff you can't see is done all the way. Now, as you can probably tell, I was fully prepared to utilize the stock hardware. This stuff, of course, was all zinc plated as well. New cotter pins, which the new pegs came with cotter pins that are the right length, so that's really nice. These are just from Ace Hardware. Sometimes I don't zinc plate washers. They might burn, and I can go spend 30 cents and avoid a ton of labor. So let's see, what side Looks like that's probably the guy for this side. Oh, man. That is looking good. That thing is a monster. So using our stock stuff, our stock pins that have been zinc plated, we'll go ahead and do a little test fit and see what kind of camber we've got here. They're tilted up just slightly. Now, if we wanted to tilt them up a little bit more, we would use, I'll go grab it. Where was I? Oh yeah, adjusting the end height of the foot peg. So you guys can see we've got a screw, or bolt rather, that goes into the top ground. So we've got a bolt that threads in to the top of the peg here, and this guy here will be contacting the frame, top of this pocket, and the more shims you smash in there, the more of an angle or rake you'll get at the tip. So with all those in there, these are angled up quite a bit more. So get your feet, your boots tucked into the frame a little more. Maybe you'd like that. What's really cool is there are 1, 2, 3, 4 at least. Maybe one's too thin to even see. There's 4. They got so many different thickness of shims, so you could really fine tune with that. I mean, that small one, this needs to be less than 1 millimeter probably, if I had to guess. So pretty cool tuning tool. I'm pretty sure I like flat, but we'll go ahead and bring these to the track when we do test day and go ahead and shim them if we need to. So just again, another check. Yeah, even with that in, it is slightly angled up. I would say about the same as KTM's stock rake. Now the only thing that's left to do once we get these pegs on the bike is go ahead and throw in all the little cleats. And like I said earlier, you have the 10 mil height and the 12 mil height, and you can actually do some pretty cool mixture of the two if you wanted to angle your foot a different way rather than just flat. So yet another tuning tool. Go ahead and get that freshly zinc plated spring mounted and drop that sucker in. Get our pin through. Damn, those things are badass. Now doesn't that look a heck of a lot better than these? Holy crap, this platform is absolutely massive. Go ahead and pop that out real quick because I think it's a good idea. Put a little bit of waterproof grease on there. Keep that pivot point working good there. All right, back in. And it's time to tie this up with our end washer, and I will go ahead and use the cotter pin that came with these new Fastway foot pegs, which is great because then I don't have to use the 40 footer. Now some guys have trouble with folding over the ends of these cotter pins, and that's because the pin itself is going to slide, especially with that waterproof grease. If you need to, you could just kind of tension the foot peg itself, and then these main pins will not spin as easily, if at all. Something else I noticed that a lot of the KTM guys do is they take this cotter pin and they actually rotate the entire main pin so it goes in the other direction, and they run this cotter pin in on the top side, and I'm guessing that's just for hitting stuff on trails and not losing a cotter pin and then a foot peg and then your ankle while you're out trail riding. All right, final step, it's time to bust out your cleats and get these bad boys threaded in. Like I said earlier, I'm using the 10 millimeter, the shorter, and there are 11 here and 6 here. I counted everything that came in the bag, and there are spares. So once you're done with both sides on your bike, you'll still have some spare cleats just in case. You also get a little bottle of included thread locker, and rather than laying all these out and making a huge mess, I'm just gonna dump some of this into each hole and then get threading. Just one little drop is more than enough. It's a low torque item, which is why you have the thread locker, but if you ever wanna get these out, you also don't want to have to torch the ever-living hell out of your foot peg. These actually look really good with the bike because of all the zinc plating we did. These appear to be some sort of stainless, which makes sense. You wouldn't want to scuff these with your boots and then they get super rusty, but they still match the bike really, really well. And these things look like they're ready for war. Got all of our cleats in. Time to give them that final spin with also an included Allen key. Thanks, guys. Ground. Damn, those look amazing. I love the silver of the cleats. I love the CNC cut of the pegs. The black anodizing is perfect. It matches, like I said earlier, those billet lugs you've got. It matches your 39 millimeter Billetron Big Air Pro perfectly as well. Actually even matches the Dirt Tricks Bellevue washer. Really cool. Got black with laser etch all over this bike. Pro Moto Billet, you guys killed it with these Fastway EXTs. Rinse and repeat. Drop in your cleat. Got a place for your feet. Damn, homie, I'm spitting bars. I bet you didn't even know installing foot pegs could be this fun and this educational. Guys, we even got to do a little bit of zinc plating. Fastway, you guys killed it on these pegs. Thank you so much for being a part of this build. For everybody else, I would love it if you could check out what they have to offer. I, of course, will leave a link in the description below for you. They have the EXTs, they've got Evos, they got Evo 3s, Evo 4s, they've got kickstands, they got spark rusters, all kinds of really cool billet parts. So glad we got rid of these old turds. Next up, guys, we are off to Rekluse, or as Uncle Tony likes to call it, the Spider Factory, which I find quite hilarious. Now, before we head over to Rekluse, I've been getting this comment on my videos more and more, and that is, why doesn't this channel have more subs? The content is great, and while that is extremely flattering to me, I really appreciate that. Guys, if you feel that way, the best thing you could do is share this content with someone who doesn't suck. I really appreciate it. For now, let's head on over to the old Spider Factory and get you guys a super trick clutch and a super trick clutch cover. Don't know why I keep waving this clutch cover around. I'll see you guys at Rekluse. All right, guys, I'm here at Rekluse. Let's see what's cracking in here.
Oh, welcome to Rekluse.
What up, Brian?
Hey, I'm Brian Brennan. I'm our National Sales Manager. We're going to show you around our place today. We're going to install a clutch and show you some cool stuff along the way. So come on in.
Let's check it out.
Do our own version of cribs here today.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
So guys, when you first walk in our building, you're going to notice one of our really cool custom Jesse Rook bikes. He was a custom bike builder. Unfortunately, he passed away after he built this bike. It was super cool. Yeah. And then we're really big about racing here. So you can see our man Eli Tomac got it done for us last year. 450 Supercross champ, 450 Supercross champ. And come over here, Jared Meese, #1 twins. Dylan Ferrandis, 450 class outdoor, and then Eli Tomac, 450 class outdoor.
Very cool.
So super cool. We got the building separated into two. So this side, you got obviously the good-looking people like myself, obviously.
Look at you.
Yep. Sales and marketing administration. We're over here, and the brains on that side of engineering. But come over here. Let's show you some cool stuff.
This guy snuck in the building.
We got to tighten up security around here. Apparently, everybody's getting in here.
Guest appearance by the pissed-off Puerto Rican himself.
So on this side of the building, like I said, we do our sales, we do our customer service. Tony McAdams here. He's our international sales man.
What's up, Tony?
Don't let him intimidate you with the long hair. Here's our kind of wall of fame right here. So signing some cool covers along the way. World Championship with Tim Geiser back in 2016. Kind of all the way to Cooper Webb, 2016, 250 motocross. So just kind of some cool covers along the way.
A lot of racing.
And then, yeah, absolutely. We validate your racing. Look across the top, all the #1 plates up there.
Nice.
So this is where the magic happens for sales and marketing up here. And let's go to the other side of the brains of the building. We're going to introduce you to our engineering manager today, who's also going to be doing our install, Mr. Andrew Wheeler.
Hey, what's up, Andrew?
Yes, my name is Andrew Wheeler, engineering manager here at Rekluse. Doing a quick tour for the Hellfire bike build.
Perfect.
So this is the engineering office. I'll give you a quick walkthrough. We've got 2 aisles. So this aisle is going to be our R&D engineers. So Andrew Walker here is an R&D engineer.
What's up, man? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Charles, mXrevival. Tony, EMF.
And then the other 2 guys, unfortunately, are gone today. So this is our R&D.
They're out riding, huh?
Probably. And then over on this side of the aisle, we've got CNC programmers. So these guys are going to take the designs that the R&D engineers make and basically convert it to kind of G-code, so the CNC machines out in our shop can actually make them.
Killer. And we're going to check that out today too, right?
Yep, we're going to head out that way.
Dude, apparently in their off time, they're boxing. Look at this guy on his back screen. So watch out.
Holyfield?
Not only are they programmed machines, they're apparently boxing after hours. So watch out for this place.
Street fighters.
And we got some jerseys too along the way. Colton Anchor,
some of your
#1,
riders.
Taylor Robert. Yep, some of our riders along the way.
Very cool. Everywhere you look, we got some pro racing action.
Right?
All right, and we need the safety glasses up at this point.
Safety glasses up, absolutely. Goggles on.
All right, let's see it. This is where all the magic happens, guys. This is where the clutches are actually made. And if I remember correctly, they come in on like shots of solid aluminum tube, right?
Correct. Yep. Coming in on a big piece of aluminum tube. We cut them, build them, machine them. Everything happens right here in this building. So from concept to literally design, manufacturing, assembly, out the door, we do everything right here in Boise.
Let's see it.
Which is pretty badass. True American company.
It really
so
is.
we can start over here on the front where they come in and then kind of have Andrew walk us through. But
all right. So as you guys can see, this place is no joke. Loaded up with tons of CNC tools. They take these things start to finish, from the big aluminum tubes you're going to see all the way down to the final product that we're installing in Hellfire today. Awesome opportunity to come in and hang out with these guys and have them be a part of the build. There's one of those big old tubes right there.
There's a big old piece of material coming in the door right now.
So those things turn into chopped up discs.
Yep.
And then they go into a machine somewhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we can just walk by some of the machines. And one thing you'll notice too, a lot of our machines are robot tended. So we got these robots hanging out, waiting for the machine to tell them it's done. Robot will grab the part, give it a new part, machine will cut it, and the robot will repeat again, and again.
Okay, too, and I heard, I took this tour years ago with a buddy of mine that used to work here, and he said these machines are self-clearing and stuff. It runs 24/7, is that?
Yeah.
Cool, so this
Yes.
thing runs into an error, it'll pick up where it left off, and...
So if it gets like a broken tool or something, we've got to intervene and kind of get it back and going. But basically it'll run one part and then kind of wash everything off inside, throw a new part in there and just keep machining.
Okay, cool.
The robot's just going to keep loading and unloading these
Interesting.
new parts and finished parts.
Awesome.
So kind of cool, we're always pushing innovation, right? So we have the robots in a cage here. We got this new cobot over here that's not in a cage. So those guys, yep, so this is called a cobot. So he can actually work wide open. If it comes around and hits you, it's just gonna stop. For the guys in the cage, if they hit you, you're dead. It's over. You're gone. Yep, you're gone. So they have to live in a cage. And we can actually have operators work right alongside this dude. So
Very cool.
Yeah, always pushing innovation and trying new technologies.
Let's take a look inside. All right, you guys see the big drill bit on there and the fixture where the part is locked in and then made?
Right now.
All the lubrication. Awesome.
Go to your right here. This one is actually washing off the part it just pulled out here.
Okay.
So it's going to wash top side and bottom side to clear any chips and cool it away. And then after it's done washing, it'll actually turn the water off and just blow air over it. And that'll kind of blow any remnants off.
I see. Cool. What's that one?
There you can see it's got a finished part in there.
Okay.
So after it's done with this wash cycle, it'll go dump the part on the shelf. That way we clean the part off, and then it's actually going to come back and rewash the jaws in case it missed any chips that were covered by the part.
I see. And then on to the next tool.
We'll grab the next blank and then throw it in the machine and start machining the first off.
Sweet. Looking in here, we've got those pucks that are cut down from those big solid shots of tube.
Yep, so the robot's going to grab the raw stock, throw it in the machine, tell the machine it's time to go once he's out of the way.
Nice. How long until he starts cutting in the back there once he loads that up?
Right away, right when the door's closed, the machine will start cutting.
I think I could probably see back there. Pretty cool.
Yep, drop the vices right now. The vices open up. Jaws will close. Robot will get out of the way and tell the machine, hey man, time to fire. So he closes, machine fires, time to cut parts.
All right, Andrew's going to give us a sneak peek into this guy. What's this one doing?
So this one is making our EXP bases for our auto clutch products. This is actually cranking out some new 4.0 EXP parts.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. You said there was some new parts going into that component.
Yeah, so EXP 4.0 is kind of a big change from our 3.0 products. Our 3.0 was a sliding contact, so we had steel wedges inside of our aluminum base halves. There's a Teflon piece in between those two to kind of act as a slick surface. But over time, you know, that's going to wear down because it's just constantly sliding against each other.
And this is the auto clutch, right? This is the actual part doing the auto clutch
so it's
work.
automatically engaging and disengaging the clutch. So a lot of movement back and forth on those components. And so with 4.0, what we did is we went to a rolling contact. So we have some steel hardware in our wedges now that roll against the surface of the base. And so we get a lot less wear, a lot smoother engagement and disengagement of our clutch.
Rollers versus wedges.
Exactly.
All right, we're back here in the clutch cover. These are engravings, right?
These are engraving area. Yep.
Okay, cool. This is an example of what not to do. Yeah, don't. Got hieroglyphics?
When it goes wrong, it can go really wrong.
Whose logo is that? So not only are we about to watch with Andrew the magic happen on the Hellfire clutch cover, but I think we're giving one of these away too, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so one lucky winner, if you've entered to win Hellfire, is going to get one of these badass clutch covers. Is this ours? Can I touch it?
That's a blank one. You can touch it.
Okay, it doesn't matter if I get hand oils on it or anything?
Nope, not at all.
Okay, cool. So we got the blank slate here. Yours will also be a blank slate. Thank you guys for doing that for everybody who's a part of this build, and thank you for being a part of the build.
Love doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
we're gonna load up a tool in the machine.
Shouldn't have told me that because I'm going to keep coming back. Cool. So, what's happening now inside this bad boy?
So I just loaded up that tool I mounted. I'm basically gonna touch it off so the machine knows what length it sits at.
Okay.
So it's gonna go touch that probe, and basically tell the machine where the end of that tool is.
I see. That guy's getting excited over there. Oh yeah, I got to keep it PG in the building. My bad.
Okay, so it touched it, now it knows.
Come over here. Be inappropriate with me.
I'm gonna grab that cover. So one of the cool things about the way we robot load our parts is our jaws are interchangeable, so it's super quick to just pop these guys in.
Okay.
Now it's ready to accept this specific part number.
All right.
And there we're clamped.
Locked and loaded.
Locked
Okay,
and loaded.
cool. Now the machine, it has a file has been uploaded someplace.
Yep, I put a file on memory card, so it's got the G code in here.
Oh, I see. It's actually inside
You can
that
see I've got
front
the
interface there.
Missed the M there, but mXrevival 6969's program number.
This is how appropriate.
Speaking of keeping things appropriate,
Yeah. Hey, that was your doing.
That
all right?
was, that's my go-to, yep.
I'm gonna go get HR.
we're far enough in the back of the building.
So,
Yeah. Oh, that's this is the blue collar side.
That's
all right.
Cool. So
All right.
now what happens?
So we're gonna hit go, and this thing's gonna just start ripping material away and come out with a cool design at the end.
Okay, cool. And you know what else I forgot? I mean, I have a slight recollection of the design you came up with.
Yeah.
So this would be cool to see it.
It'll be a surprise then.
Yeah, exactly. And there it goes. Sorry guys, you don't see it till it comes out. Sneak peek.
I got it paused.
Oh, okay.
A little dangerous to run with the door open. So
Yeah, right.
We could probably keep your camera there if you wanted to.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, little peep show. Oh, yep. Yes, it is. Hey, we tried. So what's happening here?
So this is just the machine reading each line of that G code. So it's got a bunch of X, Y, Z dimensions or coordinates in there, and then some M codes that kind of tell the machine what to do.
You sure this isn't a time machine? We're gonna end up somewhere else in
I
a
haven't
minute?
figured it out yet. So
That's wild. Makes me feel really stupid if I'm being honest.
these are old machines too. So you
Wow.
should see some of the new
so,
stuff.
so I'm even dumber than I think I am? So what are you looking at, Tony? Uncle T.
Cylinder covers here. So it's like a European
Dirt bike?
version, dirt bike.
Okay.
Notice this big jammer down here. What is that here?
Yeah, so these are slave cylinders for our Harley Davidson line of products. So we've got it for the twin cam hydraulic bikes as well as the new M8s.
Nice. So most people don't know that you have Harley products covered as well.
Right, we do. So we offer obviously the slave cylinder, and then we've also got manual and automatic clutch products. For
Awesome.
So.
Anything else besides Moto and Harley? Any other types of machines?
We've got YXZ 1000 side by side. We do a product for that.
Oh, okay, so UTVs.
Yep. So
Nice.
that's really the only
I didn't know
UTV we
that.
do right now.
Okay.
And then we've got kind of a mix of just street bikes that we have products for. Adventure bikes, there again, we're kind of dipping our toe in that market, but we'll probably focus pretty heavily on that here in the next few, months or whatever timeline.
All right.
Let's see what this baby looks like.
Let's see it. Oh yeah. Badass. What do you guys think? This is your cover. Say thank you, Rekluse. That is sick. Love it.
Good. I'm gonna wipe this off, get some of that coolant off.
Okay. Excuse me.
Yep, you're good.
Look at that, guys. Insane. Just like a little bit of alcohol or something.
Yep.
Color's gonna look good on the bike too.
Yeah, it's gonna fit really well, I think. Here we
Look
are.
at that, sharp. So cool. Thank you.
Sweet. So let's go over the bike.
All right, let's get her on. So there's the beast on its side, ready for a sick Rekluse clutch setup and your new cover. So this is where all the actual installing goes down for test bikes, right?
Yep,
And
this
whatnot?
is where we bring bikes in. We'll throw in our, our test clutches, do some quick parking lot tests, depending on what we're doing. We'll either head out to the track or the desert or the woods or all three and just kind of see how they actually perform out in the real world.
Awesome. And you got the Harley over here, just like you were saying. Is this guy already set up?
Yep, working on some cool stuff for the Harley market.
Oh, look
so
at that. That is awesome. You Harley guys, I know you guys have some Harleys creeping around. You look like you're ready to rock.
I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
So yeah, Tony and I put the 15-hour clutch back in there just so people could see it actually coming out. So
Cool.
this is not a service you offer for off-the-street customers, is it?
Not typically, no. You guys are special though.
Perfect. I'm feeling real special right now. All right, get in there, Unc.
Say well, let's do that. There you go. There she is, stock clutch in all its glory.
So out comes the spring, and then we're going to replace that, guys, with a 450 unit. Bye. I like your style, man. Ground.
All right, so here comes stock pressure plate.
All right. What do you think? We were talking about measuring
bad.
something, or what was that we spoke about earlier off camera about measuring something?
Oh yeah, so when we get in here to the hub, so it's a two-piece hub. You can see you've got an inner hub right here,
Okay.
and an outer hub that that's sitting into. So in between those two, we've got some dampers that look similar to this. We got a little bit more used. So we'll kind of check the slot between that inner and outer hub. And then, regardless, we're going to throw in some new Rekluse dampers. They're a little bit better than OE.
You guys make your own, in other words.
We do, yep.
Very cool.
Take your throw out assembly off. That can just be set to the side. And then I'm just going to take out these pins so I can pull the clutch pack. And be really careful when you pull these out. Don't drop them into the bike. Kind of hard to fish out.
Yeah.
I have to grab some picks.
Plates are coming out. You can tell Uncle Tony's been here because you got the white paint everywhere. You might find something else in there, bro. Careful.
Next step, we're going to remove our center hub nut. Get a gear shifter on here.
Nope.
Let's see what we can do.
Rag or something.
I've got a special tool that we have.
So what you got there?
So this is a little special clutch holding tool we've got. So you can see it's going to fit right over those pins, and then it can actually lock it into the basket.
Nice.
So now I'll be able to remove that nut.
Go ahead and give it a whack with the impact.
Since we don't have any, you're good. We don't have any transmission resistance, so we'll have to use that. Okay.
Genius.
Close that right off.
Yeah, I made that easy. That's a cool tool.
Yep. And then you can see, instead of a lock tab washer, we've got these two kind of sandwiched lock washers.
I see.
So we'll save those and reuse them.
Okay. That was my next question, if that was a reusable part.
If your bike doesn't have that, in the kit you're also going to see what we call a lock tab washer. So this is kind of previous gen of what you just saw.
Okay.
Basically you'd put this index is into a slot in the hub, tighten your nut down, and then you bend these tabs up against the corners of the nut, and that'll keep it in place. We could also,
like a, oh, excuse me, didn't mean to talk over you.
No worries. We could also use this in place of the two-piece assembly. So
okay, so either or in that case.
Yep.
Kind of more Yamaha style, huh?
Yeah. All right, so now put these pins back out before I drop those into the case. And I can pull out this two-piece hub assembly. One thing to note here, on the back, there's going to be a washer. It may or may not come off with the bike. Typically, if there's oil in the bike, it'll stick to this surface. So when you pull your hub off, make sure you know where that washer is. It's going to stay in there. We're going to reuse that.
Okay.
Here you can see we've got the two-piece hub. Pop the inner piece out. And you can see those are our used dampers. So to test kind of if those are still good or not, pop this back in. Basically what you want to do is try to rock this inner hub back and forth. You can see we got a little bit of slop in there.
Right.
So if you see any slop, definitely want to replace those dampers.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do right now. The OE inner hub and outer hub, we're not going to reuse those, so this whole thing can just be tossed.
Perfect. You want to throw that on the ground too? You're one of us.
And then this is the new stuff we're going to be throwing in there. So we've got the Rekluse outer hub.
Oh wow, look at that.
We've got the Rekluse inner hub, and we've got our brand new dampers.
Nice. That's
So
looking pretty
we'll pop
trick.
these in. They fit into those little pockets like that.
Okay.
You can see one side has this connecting web. That's going to go down into the outside.
All right. So is it pretty much as soon as there's any play at all, you need to replace those?
Yep.
There should be none.
Right. The Rekluse ones tend to be a little bit better than OE. We can get a little bit more life out of them. So that's why we like to put ours in. I don't know what we expect for typical life. I want to say 10 to 20 hours maybe.
That's just the average Joe.
Depends on the riding style, the
Okay.
rider.
Tony, is this you? Is that you in there? What is that? Did you leave something in the engine?
Oh, God.
Oh my goodness.
Come on.
What do you think about that, Andrew? You think that's gonna slip?
That'll be fine.
Happy baby.
It's just one of a kind, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Baby elephant. That's what that is.
All right, so we've got all of our new dampers into our outer hub.
All right.
Put on my new inner hub. Pretty tight here. I can't even push this in. So what I'm going to do is put a little dab of oil on each of these.
Okay.
I'm going to reseat this.
Very
I'm going to
cool.
actually walk over to the hydraulic press and use that to get a little more oomph. putting these in.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right, we're going to head over to the press.
All right. Are these bikes in here for test fits and test rides?
Yep, exactly.
All right.
Testing new products, and occasionally we're gonna just go ride them, so that's not all bad. So it's not gonna take a lot of force. So if you're doing this with a press, if it's not going in really easy, something is definitely wrong.
Yeah, don't force the issue, in other words, no matter what you're pressing.
And if you don't have a press, you can do this with a rubber mallet.
Okay, give it a few love taps.
Yep. Once it's started, it tends to go in really easy. You can see it's just sliding right in now.
Yeah, you're not kidding. So literally zero play should be. Yeah, that other one only had probably 15, 20 hours on it.
Yeah, the stock ones can wear out fairly quick depending on how they're ridden. So before I go all the way, I'm just gonna flip this over and look. So we're gonna keep pressing. We gotta make sure that this boss kind of indexes to this bore really nicely. We don't want to be forcing that inner hub onto the wall.
Because you have a super precision fit, I would assume.
Yep. And there I felt the stop.
Light pressure.
So no forcing of the press. If we look at that bottom side, you can see we're flush with those surfaces.
Gotcha.
So we're ready to go.
What are you talking about?
You guys are unbelievable. There's a little surprise in there for whoever wins this.
What is it? What does it look like?
A baby elephant, I guess.
Yeah, there. See. Yep. Dirty uncle. Dirty uncle. Well, we're glad we could put smiles on your faces today.
We're working to keep it classy and cover that up as fast as possible.
All right, let's get back to this install.
We're gonna get kicked out of here.
Making sure we've got our throwout washer still in there, so that's still
Okay.
good.
Yeah, that was the one that could have been stuck on the back of the old basket if there was oil.
The old hub, yep.
Hub, excuse me.
So we'll just drop this bad boy right on there.
All right. Making this look real easy, man.
We said we were going to reuse the stock two-piece lock washers, but we're actually going to use the Rekluse supplied lock tab washer just because we know it works well.
Okay.
So that's actually going to index into that slot in the hub.
All right.
And then we'll put our nut back on. Toss my pins back in so I can use our tool. All right, and we are looking for 55 foot-pounds.
All right. Come on. You can do it. Harder.
There we are. Now once again, I'll take these out so they don't fall out. If you don't have one of those nifty clutch holding tools, seen some pretty creative things done.
Yeah.
Definitely want to pop it into the highest gear, get the most resistance from your transmission. You can hold your back brake. Some people will shove things through kind of the rear wheel. Be careful with your spokes if you do that.
Yeah.
You could also just have somebody help you and pull the back brake while you're doing that. Should be enough resistance. So
None
different
of these
ways.
methods are approved by Rekluse, by the way, to everyone watching.
All right, now we're going to bend these tabs up, lock that nut in place. This one's a tricky one because we've got that post right in the way.
Yeah, see that.
So if you're doing this, make sure you don't use that post as leverage because that'll snap that right off. It's only meant for kind of this direction of force.
Gotcha.
All right,
That's it.
get those tabs bent in as close as you can.
All right.
Let's see, next steps, we're going to start throwing in our frictions and dry plates. So with this one, we've got, I believe, 9 frictions, 10 steels.
Yeah, these are made right here in the facility as well, right?
Yep.
Can you tell me anything cool and exciting about those? Those look like they have a pretty specific pattern on them.
Yeah, so these friction pads actually are a Rekluse specific shape. I believe we've even got it patented. So the design kind of helps separate the discs when they're in use, helps with some oil distribution, and they just look cool. So
yeah,
that's why we like them.
Right on.
And the other cool thing with our frictions, you can see how thin these are. So we use a nice steel core. We can make them pretty thin, and then that's how we are able to fit more discs in some of our auto clutch products and even our manual clutch products. So dry plates, these are kind of a unique shape. So these are specific to like our KTM. A lot of testing went into these. Can't really explain why these work better too much, but they do definitely help, just kind of help with separation and the engagement of the clutch. So a lot of different forms and various shapes we've tried and ended up on these. So that's what we've got.
Yeah, all you need to know is that you need them.
That's right. One thing I want to show, our kits have a really good instruction manual.
Oh yeah.
And then at the end we've got what we call a setup sheet. Really pay attention to these. These are like kind of the most clear guide we have for how to install our clutches. So it's got the order of the discs in which they go in.
Okay.
It's got, you know, your quantities of parts. for the KTMs or really any bike with a Belleville spring, clutch pack height's pretty important. So I've already measured this clutch pack height. We are kind of sitting at the top edge of this middle range here. So we're going to be putting our spring ring on setting 2.
I see.
But always wise to measure your clutch pack before you put it in. Refer to this table, and then that'll tell you if you're on 1, 2, or 3, or on the older bikes it was X, Y, and Z.
Gotcha. And you're talking about that ring that goes in at the very end there,
The
right?
very end, yep.
This guy.
That's going to be the ring that holds your Belleville spring onto the clutch.
Sort of sets different pressures, in other words.
The other thing to note on these is we've got this feature that we kind of call a shark fin. You want the shark swimming to the left, so keep the fin kind of to the back,
So
right?
pointed towards the rear.
Yep.
Does that have something to do with oil flow, or is that also top secret?
There again, it's kind of some black magic, I would say.
Okay.
If you do install them backwards, they'll still work, but we do see better performance if we install them in this orientation.
Good to know. Now we should also let the people know that we are not doing what you are famous for, which is auto clutches.
Right.
We are doing a badass moto setup, manual setup.
So this is our core manual product. So core is basically going to describe all of the billet components that we provide. So on this particular product, we've got an inner hub, outer hub, which you've already installed. We're also going to have our nice shiny new billet pressure plate.
Okay.
And then our torque drive is going to be referring to our clutch discs. So we also offer like a core manual. That would be, you know, our internal billets, but reusing the OE clutch plates.
Yeah, a bunch of different ways to mix it up, basically.
Yeah, we got a lot. I mean, we've got even, if you just want to replace your clutch pack, we've got torque drive clutch packs. So you're going to reuse your stock internals and just replace the clutch pack with our frictions and steels.
Killer. Just down to even just picking up some new dampers, right? You can just
Exactly.
dampers solo, and that's it.
Yep. So another thing to note, we've got a dry case here, so I'm not going to do what we recommend right now, but typically we'll have you guys soak these in oil for 10 minutes before we install them. And that just allows the friction material to kind of absorb that oil, and then when you go to break it in, they're not, you know, kind of dry paper that's experiencing all that.
Give it the best chance at a good life, right?
Exactly. So we got our first dry plate in. Now I'm just going to start stacking plates. One thing to note on these KTM baskets, or Austrian baskets I should say, the frictions will fit in either of these slots, but we've got to be careful. You can see at the bottom of this slot we've got that round. So this is not the slot where the frictions ride. We want to be in these slots.
Gotcha. You got like a square here and basically a round in there.
Yep. And there you can see how easily the pins can fall out.
Yes.
So we'll start putting our frictions in, making sure we're in the right slot. And then we're just going to alternate friction and dry plate all the way in.
All right, shark fin to the rear.
Yep.
What do you make of all this, sir? We welcome back.
I don't know yet. We'll see. We've done pretty good containing the joke, so we'll see how we do before we get down with this.
It's all going to come down to the final edit, right?
It will.
If I'm a keeper or not. Okay.
If we can post this or not.
Appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to do this.
Dude, this is awesome. We like showing off our stuff.
Yeah, me too. Then you're just about done, man. What do you got now?
Yeah, so we've got our clutch plates in, all of our frictions and steels. Made sure all of our friction tabs are in the right slots of the basket.
Okay.
And now we're about ready to put up back on our pressure plate.
All right.
So first thing we got to do is we got to reuse this wear ring for the spring. If you rotate this around, you should see a section on there that's stamped top. Make sure that's the top side of your pressure plate.
I see that.
So you should be still visible. Before we forget, we're going to toss our throw out assembly back onto the rod there. And then we can dump this pressure plate
And close her up.
Now I've already measured our clutch pack, so I know the spring ring is going to be on setting 2.
Okay.
There's the different settings there again. It used to be XYZ, but on newer bikes it's now 1, 2, 3.
Okay, and this is like setting a predetermined pressure, like a preload?
Yep.
More or less?
So it's kind of dependent on, you know, clutch pack height. The KTM springs are actually a little bit unique. They're not perfectly linear, so where you might expect, you know, if you keep compressing the spring, where you might expect to get more force, in some cases it can actually be the opposite. So
Okay, that's exactly what that gentleman said at his shop, Uncle Tony, about the spring preload.
Yep.
Your theory on that?
all right, so I'm going to use the impact to run these in, but when we get down, we're actually going to torque these.
All right.
The reason, on a Belleville clutch, all 6 of these springs are working to hold that spring down, right? So if one of these is loose, as everything vibrates, you're going to have two screws that are holding that spring in, and you've got one that can kind of vibrate loose. And so you're more likely to actually get screws that back out.
Gotcha.
Whereas like a bike with a coil spring setup, you know, they have 6 individual coil springs, each with their own bolt.
Correct.
those are a little bit more forgiving because even if it's not maybe torqued correctly, it's still got that spring tension holding pressure on that thread, and so it's less likely to vibrate out. So really important on these Belleville ones that we torque these, and I'll have to look at the spec, but I think it's 55 inch-pounds.
Yeah, that's exactly like the triple clamp bolts. You walk them back and forth until you can get them both to set a torque, otherwise one's going to be loose.
Yep.
Makes perfect sense.
And it doesn't take much on these, so.
Is this something that could strip easy?
It is, yep. So we don't have a back brake on this bike, so I've kind of had to use a generic clutch holding tool.
Yeah.
Kind of hold everything in place while I torque all these down.
Getting the job done. I brought you a clapped out jalopy with no brakes.
That's right.
What are you doing over there? You did it, man. What's next?
We got everything torqued down. So next thing that's going to go on is our shiny new custom cover.
Ooh.
Double check that
Yep.
gasket for me.
So we've pulled out the O-ring from the stock cover, put it into this new shiny Rekluse one.
Yeah, Uncle T's got it all laid in.
Yeah, he's the man.
Dude.
And look at that.
Unreal. Unreal. This thing's looking, that's like a
sick.
factory touch right there. Got the old filler cap in, and you're dialed.
Good to go.
Made it look easy. What do you think?
It's beautiful.
Dude, that's all you.
Ready to see this thing rip?
Killed it. You guys look so cute together.
All right, we got Mike Campbell here. He's a sales, customer service, tech support guy here at Rekluse.
What's up, Mike?
How's it going?
He just so happened to be walking by as we were about to install this slave cylinder. He loves doing installs, so we're gonna let him take over from
You
here.
duped his ass, let's be honest.
Yeah,
He just wanted to look at the bike.
Make him do all the dirty work.
Yeah.
Yep, so I'm Mike Campbell, do the rider support, sales, tech support, and all that good stuff. I decided to come take a look at the bike, look at this work of art, and now I'm working, so here we go.
Here we go.
We're gonna install the manual slave cylinder, and we're gonna bleed it and make this thing work and make it feel pretty.
Okay, what's the difference, if you don't mind me asking, between the one that would come with an auto clutch and then this one that you can get solo, since we have a manual?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So the adjustable slave cylinder has a number 4 Allen screw that's typically right here in the middle of the adjuster.
Oh, look at that.
Yep, there you go.
He's not done yet.
So there's the example there. So our auto clutch, you can adjust the slave cylinder externally, so you don't have to take the clutch cover off. And what's physically happening, when you turn that screw, you got your rod that goes through the transmission, your pressure plate's on the other side here. So as you turn that in clockwise, it lifts the pressure plate. As you go counterclockwise, it drops it further. So for the auto clutch, it makes everything externally adjustable. Also gives you bump starting capabilities in a worst case scenario.
Ah, that's cool.
With the manual clutch that we're doing on this monster here, we don't need this because it's a manual clutch. So the difference between this one and the OEM slave cylinder that's on here is going to be the billet housing. It's hard anodized. We have a different design for our piston and how it seals our O-rings on the inside of here. I can't pop it out right now because it's already put together. But it's a divorced piston, 2 separate O-rings. One O-ring's meant for the engine oil that's going to be touching it on this side. The other side is meant for the brake fluid that's coming out on the other side. And with that design, and we also have a spring that's behind the slave cylinder piston as well. So as you push that down, you can see it kind of come back up a little right there. And so that's what really kind of helps give you that initial kind of good mushy sort of feel at the very beginning, makes it feel soft, and then you get that real connected feel as you get a little bit further in.
Nice.
And
so
so
actuation and feel will be better with a Rekluse unit?
Yeah, modulation tends to be really improved. You know, it's one of those things where a high level rider can really notice a difference. Average guy will notice it feels a little bit better, but it's really the high level guys that notice a really big difference. Our factory Husky team really likes these.
Gotcha. Dude, you could sell ice to Eskimos.
Okay, so we're just gonna start topping this guy off. This one's completely empty right now.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start pouring some fluid in here. Almost impossible to not make a little bit of a mess here.
Yeah.
So get your stuff out of the way.
So you got a nice little space laid out down here for the mess that is sure to ensue.
Yeah, and so we're just gonna, a little bit in there.
Just priming this thing.
Exactly. So as you put that in there, you wanna come back here to the piston, and you're just gonna kind of push that and see those air bubbles coming out the top there. So you just kind of do that until that fluid drops down in there. We'll do it again. And we're basically doing exactly what you just said there. We're priming this to get all the air out of it, and this makes your bleeding process much quicker.
Gotcha. Less of a struggle once it's actually on the bike.
Exactly.
So what kind of fluid you got here? Is it actually just brake fluid? Nothing special in terms
Brake
of...
fluid, it's a 5.1 VP Racing 622, so it's just a higher boiling point. And your brakes, if like you're a rear brake dragger in the desert or something like that, this is great for a brake dragger. It doesn't boil nearly as much.
Gotcha.
And we just like to stick with the high boiling temperature stuff just so you don't ever run into those issues. And with this engine, shoot, I don't know how hot this thing's gonna run, so we just wanna make sure we're
Good point.
well in the clear. So now as I'm pushing that, you can see the fluid kind of coming up, going back down there.
Yeah.
You don't really see any air bubbles coming out anymore. So I'm pretty comfortable to say that's pretty well primed.
Okay. Where the heck are you gonna put that thing in the meantime?
Check this out.
Thanks, Fastway. So what do you think of the bike now that you got suckered into working on it?
It's the nicest bike I've worked on in a while.
Oh, well, that's good to know. No dirt, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Not yet.
Oh, this Electron carb looks awesome. And just the size of the cylinder.
Right?
That just,
Takes up all the real estate.
yeah. I'm scared of it just looking at it.
Me too. Off she goes. This is very straightforward and pretty quick, minus the bleeding maybe being the most time-consuming part.
Yeah, bleeding's one of those things. Sometimes it goes perfect, sometimes it's a pain in the butt. But by priming the slave cylinder here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill up this syringe, and we're actually gonna push the fluid from the slave cylinder up to the master cylinder. Air bubbles like to rise, they don't really like to fall.
Yeah.
So when you have a completely empty line, we highly recommend back bleeding from the bottom up, and it tends to go quicker that way rather than trying to let it gravity bleed down.
Gotcha. Can guys buy one of those syringes from you when they buy a clutch kit?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Yep. Yeah, we
cool.
got plenty of these. We use them in our left-hand rear brake kits. So yeah, it's a fairly inexpensive piece. And so if you need this it's just a great tool to have, really. Just a medical syringe with a hose on it. It works great for bleeding your brakes, slave cylinder, anything you need to bleed, it works pretty well.
Perfect.
On our slave cylinders, when you purchase them, it's gonna come in the bag just like this. You take off the paper gasket, there's a rubber O-ring right behind here.
Okay.
And so we like to sandwich the two together just to make sure you get a good complete seal up against your engine case. Theoretically, it should work with just the O-ring, but we like a little extra protection.
For sure. Never going unprotected, bro. That looks cool. I dig the color offset. It's just subtle enough to where it isn't so out of place, but it looks really good with that anno on the Cerakote.
Certainly doesn't look bad.
You're sneaking it in from the back, old boy.
Sneaky, sneaky. Sneaky, sneaky.
Kind of hate that thing has to go on there because it looks so much cooler without it.
It does, it needs that extra protection.
Kit comes with new crush washers?
Yep, it'll come with the new crush washers. So you throw one on the banjo bolt first, drop that guy down into your banjo line, and up from the bottom, or screw this guy right into the top.
You were telling me that these bikes, varying models, have completely different size, what is it?
The
Size,
banjo
yeah.
bolt and the banjo bleeder. Yeah, on a lot of the Austrian bikes, they'll have like this one's a 7 and 11. Sometimes you'll find an 8 and a 12, and then one's like a 6 and a 10. So they they can vary. Make sure you got all your wrenches.
Filling her up.
Yeah. You don't need a ton for this. One nice thing is make sure you don't shake up your brake fluid. A lot of times you'll get these little micro bubbles in there if you shake up your brake fluid.
Gotcha.
And that can really fight you. Sure to make sure there's no air in there.
Gotcha. I'm bleeding this thing as well.
Yep, we don't want to be pushing any air in the system. It'll just fight you and make your life miserable. And now we're just going to slowly start pushing fluid. Should eventually start to see some fluid come up.
There it is.
Yep.
Yep, a lot of bubbles coming. This is a lot like brakes at this point. You just pump till you get feel.
It's no different than your brakes. That's exactly it. Sometimes just grabbing the lever like this will help.
Kind of shaking any other bubbles out.
Yep. You can see that there. You can see the air bubbles coming out there. Feels pretty good, but it's not bled all the way yet. So
how can you tell you get feel across the whole lever, like pressure the whole time?
yeah, like so it starts to get pressure about almost a ½ inch, right? It should be, you should have maybe a ¼ inch at the most of clay before you feel a pretty solid stopping point. That one's just too far.
Gotcha.
So it's close. It's not all the way there yet though.
Just keep bleeding, in other words.
Exactly. We'll push up a little bit more. And be patient when you're pushing, because otherwise this line's gonna pop off.
Squirting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not the right bike for that.
That's where you should start to feel pressure is right there at the beginning.
Oh yeah, I can see the difference actually.
Yeah, so that's,
You're happy.
it's good. I'm pretty happy. Now, I mean, there could still be an air bubble in there.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't mean it's totally, completely good. You might have an air bubble show up, but that feels pretty darn good.
Good enough to ride, it'll kind of work itself out from there.
Absolutely. A lot of times they'll just come up into this master cylinder, and that's what your bladder's for. You know, that's what's going to help. If there does air get in that line, it helps out with the expansion and contraction. As the fluid heats up, it expands. And so if there are air bubbles, it's very minimal if there are any in there right now.
Gotcha.
But I feel pretty good about that.
Good job. Got my full race team right here. Feels good? Ooh, yeah, very nice. All right, my boys from Rekluse, I appreciate you guys so much for helping me out today and being a part of the build. And yeah, how do we close this thing out? Is there anything you want anyone to know?
Well, thanks for letting us be a part of the build. We got Andrew, Brian, Mike Campbell. Again, thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for letting us be a part of this. Really enjoy these types of things. This bike is amazing. This is, you know, this is just really cool stuff, and we're glad to be a part of it. So I really am supposed to get back on the phones, so I probably should head out. So yeah.
All right,
guys.
All right, Mike. See you guys. What do you think, man? You giving it the old flick test?
Flicky, flicky, flicky.
Can you believe these guys let us into their facility?
Oh my God.
They even saw your little baby elephant.
They're gonna put a wanted poster up front.
What do you think, man?
This is rad.
Pretty cool, right?
Wicked cool.
And not only that, it's a preview of things to come for you and I and Rekluse and a bunch of other cool stuff we got going on.
Stuff and things.
Yeah, by the way, this is bonus footage for all the people that love Tony and I hanging out.
Yeah,
So
he talked me into doing this.
yeah, are you proud?
Yeah.
I'm proud. I'm really
I'm proud.
excited to find out who wins. Let's spin this thing around real
I'm gonna
quick.
win.
You're gonna win?
Yeah, I'm gonna win.
I didn't even thank you for entering
Oh,
yet.
shut up.
Oh, shoot.
You're welcome.
Let's
You
see,
wanna go
let's
forward,
see.
or what do you want to do?
I'd love to see that clutch cover.
All the way
Let the
around?
natural light from the building coming in hit it. Oh, man. Guys, your bike. It's ridiculous. We should probably get out of here before we get kicked out of here.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna kick us out.
Yeah. Good day.
What was it? It was this, right?
Yeah, too much metal for one
Too
hand.
much for one hand.
Mas metal. All right, boys, we'll catch you back at the shop.
Peace.
Guys, what an amazing time stacking parts and hanging out with some of the coolest moto companies in all of Idaho. Your bike, absolutely absurd. It keeps leveling up each and every episode. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. I had so much fun capturing it on film for you. Got to hang out with all the boys from Rekluse, got yourself a badass clutch cover, slave cylinder, fully bled, ready to go. Your brand new Fastway EXT pegs from Pro Moto Billet, unbelievable as well. And we're still not done, guys. Next week, I truly hope to have what will be a complete reveal, the full reveal when you see it done for the very first time. I'm looking forward to it. Time to put the thinking cap on. I have some ideas. Hopefully I can blow your mind. I want to say thank you very much to everyone at Fastway Pro Moto Billet. I want to say thank you very much to everyone at Rekluse. I even want to say thank you to Uncle Tony for your guest appearance over at Rekluse. That was fun. They even found your baby elephant inside the engine. At any rate, guys, don't forget to get entered to win Hellfire on mXrevival.com and also this week's Rekluse cover giveaway. Now, if you want to keep this Hellfire party going, watch some more Hellfire videos. You can smash this link right here. And if you still need to get entered, you can smash this link right here. As always, until next time, shred safe, guys, and I will see you soon.